Today we're going to be looking at the Pastoral Conversations Quadrant. It's an important part of our pastoral care when we're going to visit people. People often make the mistake of thinking that pastoral care is just about nipping round to somebody and having a chat. But actually, if we're really going to care for people and to bring Jesus to them, it's a lot more than that. What we're trying to do is to create a sacred space. We want each person to be able to have time to talk to and listen to God. The pastoral conversation is set out like this. It begins with strangers, then we become friends, then we move to confidence, and we end up in a priestly place. The first part of the quadrant is the social quadrant, where we are essentially strangers, and it is the sort of thing you might say to the stranger in the street. Isn't the weather lovely today? It's all about establishing that first initial rapport with somebody. Then, of course, we move on to the second quadrant. This is where we move into a more relational phase. We know the person's name and we might know a little bit about them. How's your husband doing? Did he do all right in his job interview the other day? Did your daughter get her place at university? It's much more specific, and it could also be private information that other people might not necessarily know. In the third quadrant, we move into becoming confident. This is where we become truly pastoral, and we're beginning to look at sensitive information. It has to be absolutely confidential. These are things you wouldn't necessarily share with a friend, and the individual might be feeling rather vulnerable. Finally, we're able to move towards creating a sacred space. This is where the priesthood of all believers comes into play as we bring people into the presence of Jesus. It has to be at their pace, and this is entirely about the individual. We're creating a sacred space for them to talk and listen to God, and that may involve silence. It's really important to remember that the whole point of this is not for us to bring our wisdom or experience or advice to an individual, but to give them sacred space to feel absolutely and unconditionally accepted and loved by God. We hope that this short film has given you something to think about in your next pastoral conversation. Do have a look on the digital learning platform for all of our lay pastoral ministry training, and join us soon.